Apparently Moss Pass caravan was attacked by the Black Knight. After I heard, I was compelled to find out by the Black Knight. He seems a warrior traveling alone without a caravan. Fortunately, most people who met the caravan remember him. Word of his exploits first began to spread several years ago. A missionary named Hurdy hired him for protection. Perhaps after hearing these rumors, some cited the missionary and the Black Knight setting up camp deep in the wetlands. Later, the pair headed further in. There was less anyone saw of them. The other day I asked Hurdy himself about the story, but he claimed to have no memory of it. There was a boy who says he wanted revenge for the Black Knight on his death of his father. Perhaps the missionary prefers to avoid associating with such a man. I could learn no more of the Black Knight. In the end, he remains an enigma. So I'm reading pretty fast. I got a letter from you saying you delivered my package. Oh dear, I'm afraid you got me there. You see, I sent the letter immediately after accepting the package. And I thought it would put your mind at ease to hear it had arrived. So what about the package then? Where's the package? Actually, you really don't want to know. Tell us. Well, if you insist, listen closely then. You see what? We can't hear you. It rotted. It was produce after all. How? You said you were faster than Moogle. That's why we trusted you to deliver it. I'm faster than Moogle. He got the letter saying it arrived right after you sent the package, right? Yes. And weren't you surprised it arrived so quickly? Well, yes. See, I'm much faster than any Moogle for the most part. You cheat us, you charlatan. A charlatan has such a disgraceful ring to it. I prefer myself an opportunist. What's the difference? It truly saddens me you feel you don't understand. Enough, just pay us back the delivery package, 1,000 gil. For a beautiful girl, unfortunately, I thought of similar complaints have emptied my pockets by you. Swear to see open rage in a cleft. Hold on. Good to see you. Maybe so, but can you share a girl? No! You don't have to pay him. I don't believe this. Just thought your old friend can spare a measly 1,000 gil. Well, at least my fellow clever will sympathize with me once I finish explaining. You don't really have to pay 1,000 gil to him. You will only lose 1,000 gil. That's why it will begin to stink. I've crumbled in, few reminisce, his faulty beams will not be missed. Another one of those rhymes from Gertie. I threw out so many of them, the stench was overwhelming. Hello everybody, I am the Vision of Chaos and welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy Chronicles. I'm really sorry about the fast reading in the beginning. This is being post-commentated. I'm going to Mount Kilanda today. I'm going to Mount Kilanda today. Sorry, I can't speak. Sorry, accidentally cancelled. No, I don't want to go to the other side. I want to go to Mount Kilanda. Clicking too fast, you know. Yeah, Mount Kilanda is it's a new area that opens up for us this year. And you can take it with the ship. And if you bring an item from Mount Kilanda to him, which he asked for, he will give you a 10% discount, was it? Yeah, 10% I believe. Or 20% discount, either way, it doesn't really matter. From the 50 gil, he will give you 10 gil discount, so you will pay 40 gil to get to the other side from now on, which is, I believe, a 20% discount. Mad early in the morning is not my strongest point, but whatever. And we're sailing across the map. Actually, it's like a caravan model, but on the water. As you can see, we are entering Mount Kilanda right now.
A volcano launched its flames across the southern sea. So its ashes then became a blot on history. Some may learn what moves their heart within that fiery blaze, journeys that they long to start beyond the shadow's gaze.
Mount Kilanda. And actually, as you can see, it's more of a volcano. And yes, no, there is no town near. Once you enter the ship and reach this island, you will immediately enter into the Mount Kilanda area. And I want to note that I like this area for the entrance because I like poetry. I do not like this area as much when going through it, although it's not too bad. I have some issues which I will talk about once we get on to shore, which is right about now. And I believe I just bumped my mic, but I hope that doesn't really disturb you. So the reason why I'm doing a post commentary for now is actually because it's easier for me to play and speed up these areas, because the only thing that we're going to do in these levels is, you know, traverse the areas and just beat up monsters. There is one area coming up pretty soon actually that I'm not going to speed up because it's more of a puzzle area, and in order to get that we can actually what I want to say is, with the puzzle area I want to show off how the puzzles work and such. It's not that difficult to figure out, but you know, when you dealing with a puzzle, you better, you know, show off what happens. So one thing that I did find out is that if you have a weapon that's not equipped, you can actually fuse that weapon with an element, which I did in this beginning, but I already fused it separately. That's what I found out, since I have two weapons, but I will later on just destroy the weapon, since I find it really disheartening to see that you cannot sell weapons in this game, because it would earn you a little bit more money, and to get a little bit more materials, like maybe mithril is probably the rarest of materials that we'll actually need, and I believe you can get it in those later areas more often than in the earlier areas. But we'll get enough mithril, don't worry. The issues that I have with this area, and that's what you see right now, I have no clue where to go, and I also find it very hard to figure out where you can and cannot walk through, because it doesn't really indicate that well. There are slopes and such, but I do not think it's very indicated that well where you can walk and where you can't walk. Also, the puzzle area in this game is through pots of water into fire areas, and later on you will have to almost do this. It's not, if you want to progress a certain area, it's not mandatory to, you know, get to the end, but if you want to beat every monster, for example, then it's necessary in order to do that, at least in later cycles. In this year it's not really mandatory, but the recognition on those flames that you have to throw the water in is so goddamn finicky that you usually just throw the pot next to the fire instead of in the fire. So it doesn't really recognize that well. It's like a game error. It's a fault from the game, in my opinion. And if we go here, actually, after we've beaten those enemies, there's actually a hole in the wall right next to the chest, and that is where the Moogle area is, where we can find in our Moogle stamp. Also, I apparently missed a Moogle house, It's actually right at the beginning, in the port next to our next to our home village. I didn't get that Google stamp for whatever reason. I haven't gotten it yet, but at least I know I'm missing that one, and I will get that when the next year starts. I'm not going all the way back towards the hometown. I'm going to beat the 3 areas that are in this year. Next year, however, there's only actually 1 area for us, actually 2 areas for us remaining. However, one of those 2 areas is the last area of the game, and the last area of the game I'm not going to do just yet. So basically, this is like the next year is actually the last year in a normal playthrough of this game. If you know the secret, at least, if you know about a little something that I will speak about when we actually get the remaining of what we need to do in the desert area in order to get to the final area. Yeah, you need to do something in the desert in order to get to the final area. So what I may do is just a normal playthrough next year of the desert area, and just getting to the boss, and not do the special things that we can do in the desert area in order to progress to where we need to go. Now, if you can actually run up to those blade goblins, as you see there, and stop them, you can actually stop them and kill them, and it will have something special in it will have a special meaning in the boss fight. And what that is, I will explain once we actually get to the boss fight. Also, I went back there to the previous screen, and there was really nothing there, so I cut it out. That is also one thing that is convenient when speeding things up. I can cut out things that I already shown off, like areas that I already progressed. I thought that was a different area, but it wasn't. It just brought me back to the main area. Actually, there are 3 areas in this game. However, you can't 4 areas in the game, which the 4th is like the boss area. But you only have to go to these 2 areas. So there is another area up ahead that you can enter into with more enemies and such. However, it's not needed to go to the boss, and I actually do not go into that area as well in this playthrough. But note that if you enter from any other entrance except for the entrance that I'm going to head into in like a few minutes, then you will end up in the 3rd area and not at the boss. So yeah, if I go up here, I will end up in the 3rd area. If I go like to the right, the far right, and go up, then I will go to the boss. So that's something you should know if you want to explore this area, that is. I already spent too much time on this area, so if I go left here, I will go into the 3rd area, and I will not go to the boss. I will actually go into another area filled with monsters. Now I tried to do this, but as you can see, this platform is actually raised. So once that is also one thing with recognition. If the area is very raised, it won't recognize as well. That is something that that you have to keep in mind as well. But even when they're not raised, even when they're lowered, it's sometimes hard to get. And also in the chest right there that we just picked up, that was the item that the ferryman was looking for. So we can give him it the next time we want to cross the river. And I actually do that because I do not know which element we need in the future, and I don't know why there's a skip there. Probably some editing glitch or something. But yeah, if we go right above here, where the Arimon is, the aggro bar is, then we can get to the boss. And I accidentally cast my Phoenix down, but whatever, we have enough Phoenix downs. Although you will most likely need a couple, like couple, 5 maybe, to actually finish the game. If you're not very accustomed to how the game ends, and the end of this game is actually pretty challenging. So what you can do is also, I already showed it off, you can throw the spots of water on the ground, and I'll actually show it off. You can do that with the boss as well. And I'm just checking, I just figured out I'm continuously going back again, and I do not need to do that. Oh, actually, I will end off this episode here and finish off the episode, finish the boss in the next episode. So here's the area to the boss, and I will see you guys again in the next episode. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Until then.